Hello and welcome. This is Melsgunner, and we're back with some more Battle Brothers. So, I managed to finish off that brigand band that was closing in on this town, possibly being chased by this noble house troop. In any case, we still have the patrol to finish off, which we have 6 days to do, and we have some cleaning up to do after the end of that battle. So, quite a few level ups, quite a bit of loot to take a look at. As a matter of fact, we have another basic male shirt, so that's going to be an upgrade for somebody. Let's go ahead and go into town first. Alright, so one thing I want to take a look at with my men is a lot of them have taken polearm mastery. And I have the feeling, if we take a look at this two-handed axe, the long axe, it has a range of 2 tiles, but it's counted as an axe, not a polearm. So if we look here, this is a polearm. So that trait that we have will be for naught. And I believe everyone in this back line has that trait. So the question is, do we want to take the possibly more damaging weapon? So we've got 50 to 70 versus 70 to 95. So right there, we're seeing a big increase in damage, as the minimum damage is as high as the maximum damage here. We also probably have a difference in the armor effectiveness. So 25% ignores, 90% effective. This is 110 and 30. Shield damage is 24, so I'm assuming we're going to be able to chop away at shields if we so choose. And then otherwise, maximum fatigue of 14 versus the -8 that we have there, and -15 and -14. So very similar to the normal polearms. So I see a lot of damage here. I'm more than likely actually going to give it to my man that has the lowest attack value. And the reason I'm going to do that is because of the shield chopping ability. This gives him utility. Yes, this is the biggest damage attack that we can do, but I also like the fact that you can always do that shield chop instead. So let's go ahead and equip that and see if we're correct. So we've got a shield split, and then we've got just a normal strike, which is going to cost 6 action points, much like a normal polearm. Now granted, this one only costs 5, which is one of the reasons that it's pretty useful, as well as the fact that it doesn't cost that much fatigue carry around. Granted, backliners don't really have to worry about that as much. Okay, we also have the basic male shirt. That does mean that we have a couple people we could upgrade, but I think we should probably do the level ups before we do that. So let's go ahead and do the level ups. So starting over with Rabe. We're going to be going up to level 7, so more than likely, what have we done with our other men? I went with Battle Forged. Is there many other men that are level 7 at this point in our front line? I'm going to assume, yeah, okay, so Tornhelm also went that route. And to be frank with you, with the frontliners, I think that just makes so much sense to go that route. These men are going to have heavy armor. So let's go ahead and do our level up first, though. Well, we got a good roll on our melee defense, and that is useful for our frontliners. We also have a good roll for our melee skill, so I will take that as well. And then outside of that, I think I'm going to take hit points here, or resolve. Now, resolve for him, he's got a big penalty because of the traumatized trait. So it's going to be hard to give him good morale regardless of how I work things. And I am very tempted to just work on his hit points instead, because that's going to give him survivability. They're both good things to take, but I think I'm going to go ahead with Resolve here. Just try and improve his Resolve a little bit better than it is. Okay. With that being done, I think we're going to go ahead with Battle Forged. Although, Berserk, it can be really useful. I don't consider these guys to be my main killers. I consider my backline to be my main killers. Those are the guys that we want to have the Berserk trait. So we'll go with Battle Forged. I could have gone with Brawny instead and try and get these guys the fatigue to be able to handle the heavier armor that they have. Okay, so this is one of our newer guys, not very particularly high level. Let's go with the level up first. So he did get a good roll here. As a matter of fact, I may go full defense on him, although hit points are rather low, and we got a really good roll there. So I'm going to go with that. Fatigue I have to go with because he's really low there. So I think that's what we're going to end up with. We're going to go that, and then our melee skill because, I mean, he got a +3 and he already has a really good melee skill. So Resolve would be nice, but he's already decent there comparatively. So I'm going to go ahead with a melee skill. As much as I would like these as well, it's not often that you roll well here. Oh, well. All right. Let's go ahead. I'm very torn on that one. I think as far as what we're going to take here, I honestly don't know what I normally take here. What do I normally take there? Looks like for most people, I skipped over level 2, and I took this trait, fast adaptation, when you're going to have a lot of back and forth, whittling away at each other or chopping away at each other like you're going to see in the front line. I think fast adaptation can be pretty useful. And really, I think that is indeed the best trait we could take. Quick hands, I could see a reason for if you're going to use javelins and things, but yeah, we're going to go with fast adaptation, give our chance to hit a little bit better probability. Okay, going on. We've got another level 7 upgrade, which I am going to go with Battle Forged yet again. Let's go ahead and do our roll. So we rolled pretty well with our melee skill. I'm definitely going to take defense over that, though. We rolled quite well in fatigue. I think we need that, so I'm going to take it. We're pretty ahead on the melee skill with this character, if I were honest. To the point that some of the other traits that we have here are very tempting. But I think I'm going to go ahead with the melee skill. Gunther and Alric are kind of our main killers in the front line, especially Gunther, who has pretty good attack ability in that front line. As a matter of fact, I guess he's the highest right now. Okay, well, let's move on. We have one more level up, and it's yet another level 7, which for sure is going to go with Berserk. So most of our backline has Berserk at this point, except for, I think, this man. All right, well, we did get a melee skill, which we just have to take for our backliners because they are our main killers. I think outside of that, I'm happy to take the ranged defense because of its implications. I mean, we do get shot at times. And then outside of that, I like initiative. I like resolve. I think we go with the resolve for now. All right, so good level ups. Now let's think about our armor. So we did pick up a mail shirt. There's at least 2 men that I can think of that need it. So we've got Burkhard, who's using an old worn mail shirt. And then we also have our new member, Albrecht the Old, who is using a patched mail shirt. I think we go with Burkhard getting that. He's higher level, so in my opinion, a higher priority. So we'll give him that, and we'll pass along the worn mail shirt, possibly. I do have to consider the fact that this is going to cost him 2 more fatigue to wear. I think we keep him with the patch mail shirt for now until he levels up more, and we are going to focus on his fatigue. All right, so let's pass the worn mail shirt back. So now all of our backliners have some kind of mail that they wear. We do have some lamellar. Now let's go to the shop. Okay, so starting with all the loot that we have here, a lot of this is going to end up getting sold. I am going to keep the jagged pike for now. Crossbow, we should have a couple in our inventory already, and they're in better shape than this one. So let's go ahead and sell that. Short bow we don't need to keep. Short sword can go. This can go. The Morning Star can go. Both hatchets can go bye-bye. The flail might be in better... No, we have a full repaired one. Never mind. This can go away. Normal shield we don't need. Yeah, we've got full repaired ones. I'll get rid of this 91%. And I'm thinking about getting rid of everything but the 97%. 97 percenters. So we'll sell these two. And I'll even sell one of our 95 percenters. So let's sell that. And we don't need to keep this as it's beat up. And we definitely don't need any of these or this. And I think we'll happily sell this damaged lamellar armor. Okay, a pretty good haul and pretty good cash. Okay, I think we've done most of our cleaning up. Let's get back on the road. I really don't want to engage any more people. Mostly because our squad's pretty beat up. We have some injuries that I think are, you know, they're decently serious. I did use a bandage, did I not? I'm trying to remember. I thought I did. Yes, I did. So let's go ahead and buy one of those if they have one. Just a normal bandage. I don't know if that's a good price. I think I've seen better, but that's okay. Go to our archer and make sure that they get that bandage, because it helps to have those bandages, especially in somebody that's in the back line like that. Okay, let's now get back on the road and go to Weisenhaus. So I'm going to click there, but I just want to see, yeah, okay, as long as we follow the roads, I think that's wise. I'm going to keep an eye out for more enemies. Probably will avoid them unless it's just a really obvious case that we might want to get involved with. So something like where we see a brigand band being attacked by one of the noble house guards. Yeah, I'd get involved in that situation because we have an advantage in numbers. And we can kind of hold back and maybe get a few kills to add to the pile. A few heads to add to the pile. For now, we're just going to go right back to Weisenhaus. And use this knight to patch up our wounds. And move out. But I'm pretty happy with that. We now know that if we can do Hohenau salt runs up to Schwarzwacht and get, you know, a decent amount of profit. It's only going to be, well, we got 60 per sack of salt. All right, we did end up getting 960 crowns on top of the 300 we got in advance. So a little over 1,200. Returning to Count Bjarni von Thura, you find the man sitting deeply into an enormous chair, as if he needed all the space to support his nobility, opulence, and pride. You talk about the patrol, how you killed 16 while on the road. Your emphasis is on the kills, as that is what you're being paid for. Count Bjarni von Thura nods and has one of his men throw crowns into a satchel and hand it over. Okay, enough marching for today, and we get our 900 plus crowns. And we have another faction mission right out the gate, and I think we keep with it, to be honest with you. I am going to go to the temple, and we're going to work on the injury that we acquired here of the sprained ankle, as I do think that is a really detrimental one. It's one that will heal relatively quickly, but I think it is worth it. All right, before I take this, though, I'm going to take a look at the shops. Now, unfortunately, there was a missing person event going on right now, so prices are not going to be great here. Before I take that, I do want to take a look at our faction relationship. So right now we're open with House Harkon, and I think we're close with House Thura. We're getting there. It looks like we're almost to that mark. So another job for House Thura, I think, will get us there. Okay, well, it's working out. Let's go ahead and take this faction job. Hey, and it pays better anyway, so why not? All right, Count Bjarni von Thura breaks bread as you enter, but he doesn't share any. He dips both ends into a goblet of wine and stuffs his mouth. He speaks, but it's more crumbs than words. Good seeing you, Sellsword. I have some goblins northeast of Suderbush that need rooting out. I'd send my knights to go take care of them, but they're a little more important and less expendable. I'm sure you understand. He managed to stuff the rest of the bread into his ugly maw. For a moment, he chokes, and for a moment, you consider shutting the door and letting this end here and now. Unfortunately, his throes of anguish garner the attention of a guard who swoops in and slams the nobleman in the chest, spilling the hazard right out in all its goopy, near assassinating glory. Let's talk money. Alright, so it looks like we're going to see 360 crowns in advance and 1430 when the job's done. I would like to see more. He gives me a little bit more. Okay, I accept. We have kind of a vendetta against greenskins, especially if they're goblins. So we'll accept the contract. Okay, so we're going to destroy a goblin camp. Because it's a 2-skull affair, not a 3-skull affair like the last time we engaged goblins, I'm not as concerned. Now, it said it was northeast of Suderbush. Well, this is Suderbush. The northeast. Well, that's quite a ways away. So actually, it's closer to Adlerwacht, so we're probably going to want to walk over there. So I do want to take a look at an armorer, and Turnfeste is going to have one. Unfortunately, we're not going to have a discount looking there, but we do have almost 7,000 gold, so we should be able to afford things, and these bigger towns tend to have better prices. And we will hopefully be able to walk off what injuries we have as we go. Looks like an engagement here. I'm going to assume noble house guards dealt with whatever was there, though. Okay, well, there is a noble contract with this faction, although we are quite a bit behind on this faction. I haven't really looked too much into training hall stuff, and I really feel like I need to do that. Once we get past this ambition, I think that's going to be my main goal, is to try and get my troops trained at the training hall. I think this is the only place that has one. There may be another one somewhere else, but this is the one I for sure know about. Just to look at what we've got here. I'm going to assume it has something to do with what level they are. Yeah, so you could pay for some sparring here. Let's just see. You have your man participate in a sparring fight with experienced opponents and various fighting styles. The bruises collected and lessons learned will result in 40% experience gain for 2 to 3 days. Alternatively, we do veterans lessons. Have your man learn valuable lessons and insights from a true veteran of the trade. The knowledge imparted will result in 30% experience gain for 46 days, so not quite as high. Oof, okay, so these are just experience gains over a period of time. Not really what I thought they would be. I thought it would just be like, here's a skill that we're going to train you in, but I guess not. It's kind of weird. I wish it was the other way around. Okay, so Lamellar Harness is going to be like the bare minimum of what kind of protection we're looking for. The downside is they're charging me so much for it. They're charging me an extra 1,600, which is pretty much the same thing we saw in that other big town. This is why I really want to do these deals at Hohenau. The problem is Hohenau almost never has these in stock. I feel like we got to do it, though. The only downside is if I do this, minus 30. So right now, the best piece of armor that we have is these basic mail shirts, which are minus 12. So that's a difference of 18 that we're looking at. Now, fortunately, Alaric can handle that because he's at 77. Well, he can handle it to an extent, but he does also have the brawny trait, which will reduce the fatigue penalty. It's going to be only 30%, so we may be able to save ourselves 9 fatigue there. So it'd be, 21, but we have to keep in mind that we're also saving that same amount of fatigue with the basic mail shirt. So 21 versus 7, really. I think 7 is probably, well, no, 8. So that's a difference of 13. So we're probably going to be in the mid-60s if we take that piece of armor. which is well below where I like to be, which is about 70. But this is our goal. This is what we're trying to do, so I'm going to do it. Let's go ahead and get a lamellar harness, a body armor made of thick overlapping metal plates that cover most of the upper body. Now, personally, I think scale armor would be the better deal if we could get it out from Hoenau. Because it's 4,000 gold and we're going to get a better deal on it. I might even be able to get it for less than what we're seeing here for the lamellar harness. But right now, it's here, and I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of going to Hoenau every time and not seeing it. So we're going to do this. We're going to occasionally go to Hoenau every so often, see if we can get a good deal. But while things are like this, these are going to be the ones, the towns where we don't get any discounts are going to be the ones where we have the best stock and the most likely chance to get the really good armor. So here we go. I hope I'm not going to regret this, because that was a lot of money we just spent. Especially as it sells back for 563. I honestly am not that big of a fan of games that do that, where you buy a good and then you resell it for not even like 10% of what you bought it for, but... Alright, so Alaric's going to grab this. Let's see his fatigue plummet. So right about where I thought it would be. Mid-60s, about 64 is kind of where I expected him to be when he equipped that. He does look nice and stylish now. And we're going to want to give his basic male shirt to somebody else. Unfortunately, that somebody else is going to be this guy who is going to be back down in fatigue where he was. But as far as I'm concerned... Or we could sit on the male. Let's sit on the male. I'm going to sit on the male. Yeah. While this guy is still leveling up, I think we sit on the male. Yeah. Right call, I think. You know, I forgot to sell the woodcutter's axe. Did I sell the... I shouldn't have. Oh, no, I equipped it. I thought about selling the woodcutter's axe. Reason being, because we already have this better two-handed axe. But you know what? Now that I look at things, I think I'm going to keep it on. All right, that's fine. Let's continue. I think we probably should sell this, though. The padded leather. At this point, I don't think there's really a reason to keep it around. We've got mail for most everybody, and we even have mail in reserve, so... And we've got this lamellar, so I'm going to go ahead and sell the padded leather. I think we've gotten beyond this level of armor. So I'll sell that for 37 gold. Wow. All right, let's move on. So it's been such a long time since I've been to Adlerwacht. We've gone back to a neutral standing with them, so we're not going to see much in the way of deals. Let's just go straight to this location and deal with these goblins. And again, hopefully we'll be done with our injuries by the time we get there. 52 is 60. Yeah, that should be taken care of. And we don't have the sprained ankle anymore, so we should be up and fighting fit. We have all 4 of our dogs. We didn't manage to lose any of them in those previous fights. This is going to be a good amount of gold that we'll get out of this. But goblins are dangerous. We more than likely want to engage them at night, so I should probably try and get there relatively soon so that we can do that. I probably should attack these guys at some point. I believe those are zombies. I think that would be a good fight for us, just to see what they're like. I don't think we've fought any in this campaign yet. This is going to be close getting there. Now, to be honest with you, I really don't know if there's an advantage in fighting goblins at night. Okay, during camp. And you're the younger enters your tent. Sir, we got a group of refugees out here that'd like to talk to you. You set aside your quill pen and go to meet them. They're an awful mess, looking more like dish rags through the mud than people. One, a man nursing a nub where his hand used to be, steps forward and speaks. I take it you're the one in charge. Nodding, you ask the man what has happened and why it concerns the company. He explains, gesticulating with one good hand. The Greenskins are attacking. Well, that's nothing new. You ask where they are and if they're goblins or orcs. The man shakes his head. Well, see, that's just the thing. It's both. They're working together, hordes of them, as numerous as the blades of grass beneath our feet. I misspoke in a way. What I should have said is that they aren't just attacking, they're invading. All of them, together. An invasion beyond any scope or measure. Don't you understand? You look at the crowd of refugees, children huddled beneath the skirts of their mothers, men looking lost. The man continues. My father fought in the Battle of Many Names. He always did say they'd come back, and now I suppose he's right. We hear the noble houses are panicking and might join forces, lest we all be overrun. If you want my advice, I say stay out of it. Those hordes, there's nothing stopping them. And the things they do. You grab the man by his shirt. The things they do don't worry me. Get out of here, peasant, and leave the fighting to the fighters. War is upon us. So here we are. This is the end game. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and halt the video here, but that's very interesting. So it appears the end game has approached, and as I suspected, it is indeed an invasion of the Greenskins. So we're going to have orcs and goblins working together. Now, because I joined or started this mission before some updates came, from what I understand, the way the game used to work when it first launched, which is about the time that I started this campaign, if towns got attacked by invasions, they could be destroyed, and once they were destroyed, they're gone, more or less. So, as I said, when I started that campaign, that was not an option to turn off. Some people, I think, took exception to that. They felt that it made the game extremely difficult to the point of maybe impossibility. So that was made an option if you didn't like the idea of towns being destroyed like that. Unfortunately, as I said, it was not an option for us. But, you know, I'd like to at least experience that and see what it's like. See what the downside of having a campaign where towns can be destroyed is, you know, what it's going to be like. But in any case, we'll see that in the future, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.